Happy hump day, friends. It is time again for Lunchtime True Crime. Child, this is a case that's local to me, so I don't know if people around the country have heard about it. But if you have not, buckle your seatbelt. We're about to get ready to go. But first, you know what you have to do. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and then we're going to start talking. Then we're going to talk about Shove Girl. Lauren Pazienza, unclear. This is a 27-year-old heiress, who was living in Astoria, New York. So those who don't know, Astoria, that's in Queens. I would just call it Queens. I don't know why they specify Astoria. Shout out Astoria. Don't be giving Astoria a bad name because of this, Mama Luke. Anyway, so Lauren Pazienza is out here celebrating her wedding. I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds really nice. How does she become a criminal, you might ask? Well, Lauren is a nightmare. She's one of these like spoiled, entitled, like everyone, she just bowed down to me kind of chicks. Who was marrying her anyway? This is what I'm trying to figure out. But she and her fiance had gone to the park to celebrate 100 days to their wedding. That's an anniversary? Okay, fine. She had a couple of bottles of wine. And at first I was like, oh, a couple of glasses? A couple of bottles of wine, also Xanax, also marijuana. Okay, she was really celebrating. And then the people at the park were like, listen, this park is closing. You should probably, everybody has to get going. Come on, everybody out. So she gets mad and she stomps out of the park with her entitled self. And as she's stomping out of the park, she sees an 87-year-old woman and shoves her out of her way while calling her a bee. Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to control yourself. People think New Yorkers are rude. And okay, we are not rude. We are efficient. We need to get where we're going. We need to do what we're going to do. You need to get out of the way. And if you don't get out of the way, we will generally say to you, excuse me, in a assertive manner to help you understand you need to get out of the way. What you can never do and what you should never do is put your hands on another person. And if you accidentally touch somebody, you need to apologize to them profusely or risk getting beat down. Now, is that beat down rude for having touched another human being? No, that's just how it is. That's the law of the streets. But Miss Lauren did not say excuse me in a rude tone. I mean, in a assertive tone like you're supposed to. She called this woman a bee and pushed her down. Lauren, this woman is 60 years your senior, and you pushed her down on the ground. This 87-year-old woman was a beloved voice teacher, Broadway teacher. She fell down and she bonked her head on the sidewalk and then started to bleed and suffered a profound head wound. Lauren, this drunken, drugged out idiot, apparently stood at a distance and just watched it happen. Now, see, look. Folks have thoughts about New York City people, but here's what happens. If you have an accident, if anything happens, 1 million people will swoop in to help you, get you all situated, and then all disappear because we got things to do. So people swooped in, they called 911. Lauren stood back and watched them load this woman into the ambulance, and everybody went on about their business because, again, we busy. So Lauren was like, I'm sure that old lady with the blood trickling down her head is going to be fine. Only she wasn't. The music teacher, bless her, 87 years old, went to the hospital with a brain bleed. Not just like she cracked her head. Her brain was bruised. She had a brain bleed. And 3 days later, she died. Lauren girl, now you are a murderer. So you're a terrible person. There's nothing wrong with liking wine and Xanax and whatever else. Mind your business. I don't care. And also in New York, marijuana is legal. So maybe she just went to one of them went to Weed World and got herself some legal weed and was enjoying that. Nothing wrong with that. What you can't do is push people down in the streets. So she was like, I'm gonna need to hide out. So she took her phone. She left Astoria, we getting off your back, I promise. She left her fiance and took her phone, went to Astoria and dropped it off at her auntie's house and then hid out. And when the cops knocked on the door and was like, where is Lauren? We see her on the videotape because we got all the tape in the world of this heifer. Her father and her parents were like, we not opening the door. According to the neighbors, because all the neighbors was out talking. They was like, I could not stand her for years. Look, hello, Channel 2, Channel 5, Channel 13. You can come over here because we're going to tell you all about her. We hated her. Everybody who has ever met this girl flocked to social media, the news, Twitter, every place they could go to post all these pictures to tell you how horrible Lauren was. Lauren girl, I would like to think if I committed a crime, which I have no plans of, and if it's an accident, I'm going to turn myself in right away. Because as you can tell, I'm a little bit loquacious, and I would probably just jump on the YouTubes and tell on myself. But if I did, I would like people to be shocked and say, oh, we never imagined that she would do insert whatever crime I'm accused of. Although I am known to make some questionable U-turns. And if that's super illegal, then it was probably me. Because I'm a child, I will do a U-turn. Anyway, so, but New Jersey, the jug handles, it's all confusing. Anyway, so, all of her friends, all of her neighbors, everybody who ever met her was like, hi, we would like to get in front of your cameras and tell you how absolutely terrible this woman was. And people came out en masse to report how terrible she was as a child, how terrible she was as a student, how terrible she was in undergrad, how much she was bad to her fiance, and how often she cheated on him. Dang. Okay. People ain't like her. But they did have lots of pictures of her tropical vacations, and she was thin and cute and in a bikini, and she was all like posed up or whatever. But everybody was like, she's trash. Also, she's heir to a cesspool fortune. I'm sorry, what? Now, I had to Google what cesspool was. It's gross. It's like she's heir to a sewage fortune on Long Island. There are sewage fortunes on Long Island. There's clearly sewage on Long Island. And some garbage human beings, including this chick, although she was temporarily living in Astoria. Hey, Astoria, we're very sorry to keep mentioning you. But, ew. Ew, she was a garbage human. So makes sense that she's associated with cesspools on Long Island. But her parents have lots and lots of money, and they were like, okay. Our daughter is garbage. And since her picture is now all over the news at 10, 11, and on 10 wins, like she was everywhere. People like, have you seen this heifer? She's trash. She pushed down an old lady, and we gonna put her in jail. So finally, she had to turn herself into police, but not before her very rich parents hired her an attorney. You know, all her friends was like, you know what she says about her parents, though? She says her parents are basic. She says her parents are stupid. Everybody hated this heifer. And so, clink, clink, she goes to Rikers Island. Now, listen. Rikers Island is an island with just a prison on it. Just prison. Nothing else. They do other stuff on Rikers Island. They make things, and I believe they bake bread on Rikers Island, but only for the prisoners that live there, not for, like, the general public. Rikers Island is a prison island. Nothing but the prison and all the associated services with the prison on its own island right near LaGuardia Airport. So if you ever take off from LaGuardia or fly into LaGuardia, just take a look out the side of your plane and you can see all the prisoners there. A lot of people there. So they take her off to Rikers. Now, I have never been to Rikers, but I'm told it's not a nice place to go and visit. So she's there, and her parents are like, who's the best lawyer we can hire for her? I know who we're going to get. And they get the same lawyer who defended Harvey Weinstein. Okay, so this lawyer has a type when it comes to his criminal defendants. Gotcha. Garbage humans? He's like, yes, that is my specialty. Your daughter is garbage? Yes, please bring her in. I would love to chat with her and I will try and defend her. Ultimately, she was facing like 25 years in prison and she was like, oh, I bet that food is terrible. And so she pled guilty. And they say she's likely to do like 7 or 8 years in prison. That seems too good for her for murder, in my opinion. But, you know, she does have the rich, fancy lawyer or whatever. Wonder what she's going to be like when she comes out. Is she still going to think her parents are basic? Do they cut her out of the will? Does she get like a lot of commissary? Because here's the thing about Rikers Island. After you get sentence or whatever, then they send you someplace upstate. It's cold upstate. Like, really, really cold, and there are bugs. So something tells me, Shove Girl, Lauren, she not gonna have a good time in prison. Although she's been in prison for over a year, so maybe she's used to poor conditions. And child, they had her picture. Listen, if she's vain, like I suspect she is, something tells me she's none too pleased with the little mugshots and stuff they got out here of her. Because all her old pictures were her in a bikini, striking a pose, whatever. Now, she's looking a little worse for wear. Her hair is not getting done by the good hairstylist. She's looking puffy and she looking a hot ass mess. But you know what? She's a murderer and an entitled human and looks like a terrible human being by all accounts. People from her childhood were saying she was terrible as a child. If If you were a terrible child and your parents did not snatch a knot in your behind and get you to straighten all that out, nobody can be surprised when you become a terrible adult. Okay, apparently that's just how that goes. So, parents, if you got some terrible children, commence to snatch your knots. Because, like, that's what you have to do. Snatch a real tight knot in their behind. They're like, oh, Mom and Daddy are not playing, so I'm going to get myself together, and then you can save yourself from having to hire a lawyer or going all the way upstate to visit people in the cold, because nobody wants that. Okay, so look, all's well that ends well-ish. This terrible woman is going to jail. Sadly, a beloved voice teacher is no longer on this side of glory. But child, the choir she is directing over there, or the endless heaven buffet, or whatever her personal version of heaven happens to be, I hope she is enjoying it in peace and harmony and not worried about Miss Cesspool over here. So look, that is today's Lunchtime True Crime. Join us tomorrow for more Lunchtime True Crime. I will see you then.